remarkable. For better or worse, we like to view history, we tend to view history, our collective history, in terms of centuries. The Queen has been, of course, Queen for 70 years, but she's been part of our life for 100 years. She's indelibly linked to all of the major events, the triumphs and the tragedies. She's the last person who connects us to the Second World War. We have to remember she was actually on the balcony.
And isn't
in
uniform? There's something very important about that, isn't there? The fact that she wore uniform and did a job in the war.
And the fact that the royal family was there for the people during the war and weren't skipping off somewhere safe. But I think when one looks, I mean, OK, we're not invited to offer an award for the best front page, but I never thought I'd hear myself saying it, but I think that Daily Star one captures it, because it's a wonderful picture of a young woman in her prime, Cecil Beaton, as you say, and, you know, you did your duty, ma'am, well, that's it, isn't it? That's it. That's what she did, and heaven knows when we'll ever see her like again.
It's interesting, isn't it? I always balk slightly at the talk of servants to the nation, because, I mean, that applies to politicians and for us, and you wonder quite how that applies. When it comes to her, though, she really has served the nation like no other.
And I think it's what, you know, I was obviously spent a bit of time thinking about Meghan, and my phone was red hot for a couple of hours yesterday afternoon when people thought she was going to go up there. But anyway, but the point is...
It was a worry, wasn't it?
It was. But Meghan's view of royalty is all glamour and gloss. The Queen's view of royalty was service. There's nothing... I mean, the number of times in my 11 years as a minister, I went out with senior royals on visits to far-flung parts of the country, often to quite distressing and depressing and difficult hospitals and things like that. There was nothing glamorous about that. But the fact that they went was a focal point to bring some joy into the lives of people who didn't have a lot of joy in their lives otherwise, you know?
I think that's very important, actually. The Queen was able to transition the monarchy from being an imperial monarchy to a post-imperial monarchy. Sometimes we call it the welfare monarchy. She steered away from the glitzy celebrity causes that you see, for example, in Hollywood, and she went out and made the monarchy engage with the unsung heroes of Britain, people working in soup kitchens, volunteers, St John's Ambulance. The unsexy causes got glamour and attention from the presence and the involvement of the monarchy, and she became, I think, through that, a supreme moral leader and a champion of self-sacrifice, service, duty, and civic duty, importantly, and a sense of bringing together an idea of social cohesion.
Yeah, and she couldn't even do it during the pandemic, and she did it by Zoom. I'll never get over that. She actually was comfortable doing that, wasn't she? I tell you what, I don't know if we can zoom in on this, but I find that profoundly moving. It's in the middle of the Mail. These sort of official portraits, and she's now in that lineup of Elizabeth I, Queen Victoria, and Elizabeth II, in very similar posed shots. That really places her in history, doesn't it?
What was said just now about the change, you know, when you look at some of the old newsreels of things that she said as a young woman, our imperial family and all of that, it is remarkable how they were able to change that message to something far more personal and far more profound in terms of its service to the community.